It's Emma from I Am. I hope you are all good. I hope you're all happy or trying to be, because I know sometimes life ain't great, but remember, you control your mind. You can control your mind and your perspective. That makes sense. I've had to control my mind today. I was really hectic this morning, so I've had to leave the house and find some greenery. Can you see I am in a park? I don't know what is in Stapleton Road, I'm sure. Yeah, in Bristol. So it's just around the corner from me. But yeah, so what is Emma going to talk to you guys about? It's something, as I'm sure you guys have seen in a lot of my videos, which currently they have been set on private for the time being. I'll explain the reasonings when I start, but you'll see why. You will see why. It's all part of the plan a bit. But I will be bringing them back out. Don't you worry. All the videos, they are still there. They just can't be seen by you at the moment. But yeah, so today I have been, as you could see from my previous videos, I've been trying to talk about education. And for some reason I have struggled, and every time I've intended to do it, something's always stopped me, and I didn't realise this, and then it finally clicked last night. I had one of those, because I'll be honest with you, I've been talking about self-love and stuff, but I'll be honest, I haven't really been spending enough time really thinking. I've been working too much, I've just been working too much on it, so I haven't really allowed time for myself, which I've learnt the lesson now. I have really learnt it, so I will be making sure I have daily time. So I can't be telling you guys to do it, and I'm not doing it myself. But yeah, so education. I realised yesterday, after just spending that quiet time with myself, that I have been affected by leaving a lot of the schools, and I really miss the students. I really do, because I did care about them a lot. I cared about their well-being, and I just didn't want to leave them. But I felt at times I had no choice, maybe due to personal situations, and a lot of the time I found I was getting more stressed when I came to the realisation that I was quite powerless to improving these students' lifestyles. I'm going to be explaining in this video what students are facing in the education system, so that's the point of this video. And the annoying thing was I was powerless. I felt like I couldn't do anything. I was spotting all these things, be like, okay, I was really excited at first, be like, let's change this, and then it's just no support whatsoever. You're either ignored by your managers, told there's no funding to make these changes, or just just laughed at, just being like, what, there is no problem, and it's just for the well-being of your kids, when you kind of realise that the schools have duty of care, but when you actually work in the inside, you realise that duty of care only covers the physical aspect. So you will receive your child back safe physically, but what's happening mentally, and how is it actually affecting your child's development, your development into adulthood, and mental health into adulthood. And this is something we fail to see, because I remember working, being in schools, and when I was in school, I didn't see any of this, because it's all and it's only when you have a bit of a break and you actually come in as an adult, it's so obvious. So the question I'm going to be talking to you guys about is what exactly, how education is affecting our children, especially in the ethnic community. So, the non-white students, how they are affected, and how neglect and everything is in there, if that makes sense. I've had to take a few notes for this one, actually, and it's the first video I've taken notes for, so you can kind of see how hard this kind of was. I had to write it down. It was kind of part of the purging too. And then we'll see, but I'm not good. I've not done this with paper before, so bear with me. So yeah, the question is, so I was kind of exploring how education is like detaching the students from who they are culturally and emotionally. So I'm obviously talking about students of colour. I'll be honest with you, white students, they get all the attention they need, they get all the feedback they need, and you do see a difference in the way they are treated compared to children of colour. So that's just my truth from what I've seen and my experiences of working in like a variety of schools, nurseries, primary schools and secondary schools. That's all I've seen time and again. So I've been obviously kind of exploring why is this, like what is going on, and I think it needs to be brought to the surface because it's affecting our children's minds, and I think this should be taken quite seriously. Obviously parents don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Like, you just think your children are safe, they're being, they're being taught properly, they're learning, but a lot of the times it's not the case. And I'm sorry to bring this to you, but the truth, it all like changes start with the truth, if that makes sense. So yeah, one thing I was really looking into was, so a lot of children of colour, so obviously they're coming from different cultures, a lot of them maybe have just come from their home country and are down here, maybe had like a lot of, maybe not even with their family, they've had traumatic experiences, so these are quite vulnerable children, and a lot of them need a little bit of support, and when they're not even getting a fraction of what all the other students are getting, you're wondering how they're dealing with it, if that makes sense, how they are how they'll be able to just function in this new culture. A lot of them can't speak English, they've just arrived, they arrive in the school, they can't understand anything that's been around them, and at the same time they're not being taught the language. They're going to school for nothing. Like, genuinely, a lot, like, I'm sat there, I was going into school being like, majority of these students will do better at home, because I literally sat at the back of the classroom. I've seen this at the back of the classroom, studying Shakespeare and not able to say hello. So I think for me that is a form of torture, because I can't imagine sitting in a room when it's just noise all around me and not understanding what's going on around me, and then I'm just shoved in the back away from all the other students, and then just expected to do work. I saw them, they weren't even doing work. So I used to work in the EAL department, so English as an additional language department. So I supported non-English speaking students. Some of them, they had different levels of English speaking and reading and writing. But these are situations that I literally saw. I walked into a classroom and I was like, why is he right at the back? And these are things I would literally be raising with the teacher. And they wouldn't listen. I raise it to my manager. They'll be like, okay, I'll send the email across. Nothing happened. So, and when you're just forever fighting for one thing and knowing that there's so many other things that are wrong, there's so many of the students being neglected, and it takes you, 4 months, 4 weeks of raising a particular issue for a particular student, and it still wasn't solved. So, are they not getting the attention they require? But they're also not taught about their culture. So they're only taught about the culture here. So I don't think people realise just how that can affect you. So, your culture is part of who you are. I don't know if you agree with me, but I found myself more now than when I was in school, because I went to a white school. I was literally the only mixed race girl in the year, and in the whole school there was 3, one black girl, and it was like, I found myself more when I left school, when I started studying my culture, studying Africa, and I have never felt like, I realised that throughout my whole life, I haven't been me, because a side of me has been hidden from me, literally hidden. So the culture, like, that's not taught. History, you're not even told your own history. And how many times can you be taught, like, the slave trade? Like, literally, how many times? We are more than slaves. We are more than slaves. We go way back before slavery. We've got, like, amazing kings and queens, pharaohs. You know, I want to learn more about the Egyptian technology, the advancement, like their advanced minds. Like, I want, you know, they knew astronomy. I want to know more about, you know, the successful kings and queens that were, like, ruling tribes without any hassles. I want to know more about that. I don't want to, like, yes, you know, it's important to know about the slave trade, but there's so much more to that. We're not inferior. We've done good things. We've done so much more. We've done crazy amounts, like way more, you know, and then a lot of the things we've done have been claimed by the white people. Let's just face it. That's what we're being taught in school, that it was them. That's not true. We know that. Yeah? We know that. It was us. So this is when you start learning this in your adult, when you actually find out who you are, it's shocking. It's shocking what education is doing to us. So that's one thing, is the history. So when you are, the actual effect on your mind and on your development, when you're only taught that about your ancestors, about, you know, slavery and all that stuff, when you're only taught that, it really affects how you view your positioning in society. So if you only know that your ancestors have done, you know, were slaves, you're going to ultimately assume that you're meant to be ruled over, that you're meant to be led, that you can't lead, that you can't be a boss. And that's simply because you've been told that that's all your ancestors were. You know, and we need to be more vocal about our ancestors' successes, because it's damaging the development of our children. They're growing up less confident, they're growing up less ambitious, you know, than the other children because of this. So this is a very, very important point. But I'll go on to the next point. So it just say, like, majority of the teachers are white. So this is even in a predominantly black school. So I've worked in predominantly ethnic schools where it's run by a white man, and there's not even maybe one black teacher there. Okay, so I know, like, if we actually go into our genetics, black and white are different. I'm going to be honest with you. Our DNA is different. So we do think in different ways. We love in different ways. We think in different ways. We've got different hair, you know, and you need people around you that are kind of the same, so that, you know, even asking questions about your hair, asking questions about racism or anything like that, someone around you that you feel comfortable talking to. Because you're similar, you've got similar culture, you've got a similar lifestyle, you eat similar foods or something, or you need that, because then if you've got that, you're learning more about your culture whilst learning, you'll learn more about your religion, you're learning more about, because you can ask your teachers anything around areas that are you, which is your culture, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is another one. So why are they mostly all white, even in black schools? So, you know, I worked in a school where there was only 2 white students and all the teachers were flipping white. Yeah? It's not right. Okay. Also, you're taught to kind of respect teachers more than yourself. So when you really think about a teacher, you're going into a classroom, you do not know anything about them. Actually grow up, you realize that a lot of adults, like, I trust children and I trust teenagers more than I trust adults, because a lot of adults are not right in the head. Okay, so why? I get it, there's some really good teachers out there, but the way they literally really enforce that respect, and it's like, hang on a minute, you're forcing your children to literally trust a stranger, respect them more than they respect themselves, you know. It's just not, it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't make sense. So I think that's ridiculous. I'm just looking down at the notes, sorry. Yeah, another really big issue. Oh my gosh, this really annoyed me. So I used to work in a primary school, and this is in lots of primary schools actually. And what literally shocked me, these are little kids. These are like 4-year-old, 5-year-olds, and they're so cute, and they're so bubbly, and they're so chatty, and they're so la, 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 la. But all the time they're being told off. All the time for talking, for laughing, for dancing. It's like, no, you're not allowed. For fidgeting, no, sit still. For like you're standing in a line, wiggling, and it's like, no, you're not allowed to dance. You laugh in the classroom. Oh, why are you laughing? You're being told off for being who you are. You can't even laugh. You can't even joke. You can't do anything. And this is for 6 hours a day. You get a 20-minute break, maybe, you know, if you're lucky, 45-minute lunch. And then for the rest of the time, you are a robot. You're having to go in on, you know, no free will. I need the toilet. Ugh! No, you can't go because you'll be too long. You'll miss the lesson. That's really bad. That's like controlling a natural thing that they have to do. They have to go to the toilet and they're told off for doing it because they haven't done it in their flipping 20-minute break. When actually they shouldn't be using that queuing for the toilet. They need to be relaxing. Yeah, so no freedom whatsoever. So you see them, you know, like I even said, I think I said this in one of my videos, like it just used to upset me when the bell would go for lunch and they'd be running out like it's like they've been locked in cages all day, and they'd be screaming, running out like freedom, and I was like, this is actually really horrible to see, but that's what it is. That is literally what it is. And they're just being told not to be themselves. And do you understand that build-up, that suppressing who you are for 18 years of your life? Sorry, 18 years up until the age of 18, you know, you get me. But having that, you lose touch of who you are. It builds up as anxiety, as anger. You struggle to express yourself because you've been told not to your whole life. Do you understand the mental damage of that? So when you go into the real world, it's like you're just re-finding yourself when actually you should have known yourself from birth. You should have known yourself from birth. So why is this being taken away from us? Why? And I can't watch it with these children anymore. It's not right. It's not on. But anyway, so where's the other one? So yeah, another thing I noticed, I think the emotional well-being of children is so much more important than the academics. Like, nothing is taught about how to handle stress. Nothing is taught about how to meditate, how to breathe, how to keep calm, how to follow your dream, how to find out what you really want to do, how to pay rent maybe, the things that in life that really throw you down to the floor. I've realized I haven't been taught. I was like, why was I learning about triangles when I didn't understand that, you need to pay council tax and this and that, and then you get a huge bill on your first house because you didn't know that you had to pay council tax. So it's like little things. These things need to be changed. Our children are being affected very badly, and it's done in such a subtle way that you don't even know it's happening. Like I've been conditioned through my education, and I can only see it now from working in schools. I can't see any child going through this anymore. It cut off, sorry. We deserve to be free. We deserve it. It's our right to be free. To grow up into who we are, knowing what our ancestors did, how amazing they are, having the confidence to follow our own dreams, having the freedom to find our skills from a young age and develop them. Because you're told you have to do math, science, this. When actually, in actual fact, I just think you need to do reading, writing, and then you can self-educate. All the information's online. You can master a skill online. So like reading and writing and maths, I think that's handy. That is handy. But everything else, useless, absolute crap. Excuse my French, but honestly, we're not idiots. Why are we being taught shit throughout our whole flipping schools? We're wasting our brain space, mate. And I think you guys can be trusted enough to know what you want to learn and stuff, what you want to develop. like the other one. So the emotional well-being. So, you know, you're going into adulthood, we already know depression, anxiety, all that stuff is very, very big in the UK. And I'm starting to really link it to education. Let's, you know, everything was said, it's education, isn't it? So yeah, why is it that the mental health is less important, your sense of self is less important, why are these things less important than abiding to the system, to then getting a job, money? No, I tell you, because when you look after your brain and you're doing what you want to do, regardless, and you've got your passion in there, you will be fine. But the fact is that they're doing it in a way where you are prioritizing money before knowing yourself. You need to know yourself more first before you go working. Not know the curriculum. You're literally taught what to be. They should be teaching you who you are so that you can make the decisions yourself. They should not be making decisions for you from such a young age. Why is that happening? So I think education should be about aiding someone to be free, find out who they are, and support them in their passions to make a career out of, if that makes sense. You shouldn't be planting the passion, the ideas, the dreams into their heads before they flipping know who they are. And you're also not teaching them who they are. You're teaching them about a white man history. Yeah? You're a white man culture. And you expect us to know who we are. Here I am as an adult. I finally know about my ancestors' history. I know who I am now. And I feel like a lot of my life has been stolen from me. I'm not happy. And I'm not happy that our children are now, like other children are going through that. You can't be stealing their lives anymore, okay? It's not happening anymore. I've witnessed a lot don't even know how to say hello. A lot don't even know how to say hello in their language. Yeah. So there's a lot going on wrong. There's a lot wrong. So how can we fix it?